So this is Module 9. Question 1. Explain the purpose and intent of National Incident Management System. NIMS is a comprehensive national approach to the incident management that is applicable in jurisdictional level across public safety disciplines. It represents a core set of doctrines, principles, terminology, and organizational processes that enable effective, efficient, and collaborative incident management at all levels. The intent of NIMS is to be applicable across all full spectrums of potential incidents and hazard scenarios, regardless of size or complexity. And it improves coordination, cooperation between public and private entities in various incidents management activities. Question 2. List the components of NIMS. Command and management, preparedness, resource management, communications and information management, supporting technologies, ongoing management maintenance. Question 3. List the key organizational systems of NIMS command and management structure is based on. The Incident Command System, Multi-Agency Coordination Systems, Public Information Systems. 4. Define the Incident Command System. The Incident Command System is a standard on-scene all-hazard incident management system that defines the operating characteristics, management components, and structure of incident management organizations through the life cycle of an incident. 5. Define a multi-agency coordination system. Multi-agency coordination system defines its operating characteristics, management components, and organizational structures of supporting agencies. A multi-agency coordination system is a combination of facilities, equipment, personnel, procedures, and communications integrated into a common system responsible for coordinating and supporting incident management activities. Question 6. Define public information system. Public information system includes the processes, procedures, and systems for communicating timely and accurate information through the public during emergency situations. 7. Explain each element of preparedness. Effective incident management begins with preparedness activities conducted in well advance of any potential incident. Preparedness involves integrated combination of planning, training, exercise, personnel, qualifications, and certification standards, and equipment acquisitions and certification standards. Question 8. Describe 3 different types of ways resources may be organized and managed. Explain what the telecommunicator should be very familiar with and why. So there are single resource, individual personnel and equipment, items the operator associate with them. Task force, any combination of resources assembled in support of specific mission or operational needs. All source elements within a task force must have common communications and designated leader. In a strike team, a set number of resources of the same kind and type have an established minimum number of personnel. Agencies should prepare to survive and sustain basic service levels during every class of a disaster. Formal, mutual, and automatic aid agreements are essential as their emergency operation plan to deal with incidents of any magnitude. In jurisdiction that use a functional planning approach, hazard-specific appendices can be developed to describe the unique provisions and procedures associated with performing response functions in a specific situation, such as direction and control, communications, notifications, warnings, public information, evacuation and movement, Medicare, and resource management. Question 9. Summarize what an emergency operations plan should include. It should include assigned responsibilities to organizations as well as subset for carrying out specific actions at a designated time and place in evolving emergency events that appears to exceed the normal capability, and/or responsibility of a primary agency. Establish lines of authority and organizational relationships, as well as how all such actions will be coordinated. Describe how people and property will be protected in the emergencies and disasters. Identify personnel, equipment, facilities, supplies, and other resources within the jurisdiction or by agreement with other jurisdictions for use during response and recovery operations. Identify steps to address mitigation concerns during response and recovery operations. Question 10. Describe what interoperability means. Interoperability means the voice and data transferred and exchanged between systems and/or units within multiple locations. Interoperability is achieved through equipment, but can only be effective when standard operating procedures and clear policies are in place that trained and exercised. Question 11. List what the telecommunicator should remember when handling incidents under NIMS. The initial assessment of the call becomes even more critical at the communication center level. Early determination of hazards that requisite upward notifications as well as preparatory resource allocations is essential. Event records, call history, and collateral information from callers and response units must be continually updated and best assess the true nature of the call. Additional questions and pre-arrival instructions can have a significant impact on the outcome of the events they have involved. Documentation is extremely important after the event. It is essential for the information or request received from the incident responders to be accurately recorded, noting the time, who made the request, the details of the request, and how the request was handled. Question 12. List the types of incident command system could be used for. Fires, both structural and wildland, natural disasters, tornadoes, floods, ice storms, hurricanes, or earthquakes, humans and animal disease outbreaks, search and rescue missions, hazardous material incidents, criminal acts and crime scene investigation, terrorist incidents including the use of weapons of mass destruction, national special security events such as presidential visits or the Super Bowl, other planned events such as parades or demonstrations. Question 13. Briefly summarize the history of the incident command system. In the early 1970s, a series of major wildfires in South Carolina prompted mutual countryside, state, federal authorities to form an organization known as Firefighting Resources of California, organized for potential emergencies. This entity noticed some recurring problems, numerous and large fires, requiring multiple agencies and multiple jurisdictions to respond, no standard terminology or communication. Responding agencies did not have the capability to expand and contract the situation progressed. The sheer volume of response personnel and resources reached an unmanageable level. In response, FireScope has developed an organizational structure and guidelines to operate with that structure. Originally developed to respond to wildland fires, the system ultimately evolved to address a broad spectrum of situations. In 1987, the National Fire Academy adopted the Incident Command System, and it has become known as their model system. The same year, ICS received endorsement of the International Association of Chiefs of Police. When the U.S. Department of Homeland Security issued the updated NIMS and required its use by all first response agencies at all levels of government, it is included to newly updated Incident Command System based on the systems that have been created from the ashes of Southern California almost 3 decades before. Question 14. List the 8 primary elements of the ICS. Common terminology, module organization, integrated communications, the use of unified command system, incident action plan, a manageable span of control, designated incident facilities, comprehensive resource management. Question 15. State when a unified command structure is used. The command function must be clearly established from the beginning of the incident operations. Unified command is an important element of multi-jurisdiction or multi-agency incident management. It provides guidelines to enable agencies with different legal, geographic, and functional responsibilities to coordinate, plan, and interact efficiently. All agencies with jurisdictional authority or functional responsibility for any or all aspects of the incident are those able to provide specific resource supports, participating in UC structures, and contributes to processing and determination overall incident strategies. Question 16. State where an area command structure is used. Area command is another common NIMS organizational structure. Area command is activated only necessary, depending on complexity of the management, span of control considerations of the incident. Area command is established either to oversee management of multiple agencies that are being handled, or by a separate ICS organization, or to oversee the management of a very large incident involving multiple ICS organizations. Question 17. List the 4 elements required in all IAPs. What do we want to do? Who is responsible for doing it? How do we communicate with each other? What is the procedure if someone is injured? Question 18. State the span of control of any individual with the incident management supervisory responsibility. The span of control is 3 to 7 people, and 5 being ideal. Question 19. Define incident command post. Incident command post is the vicinity of the incident site and is focused for on-scene control tactical operations. Incident planning is also conducted by the ICP, and the Incident Communication Center is normally established by the location. Question 20. Define staging area. Staging area is established for temporary location of available resources to enable positioning and accounting for resources not immediately designed. Question 21. Define base and camp. Base is the location where primary logistics and administrative functions are coordinated and administered. Camp is the location where resources may be kept to support incident operations. Give me a second. Question 22. Define triage area. The triage area is a designated location where all injured parties are brought to be assessed for medical attention. Question 23. List the command staff positions. 3 specific staff positions are typically identified in the ICS: Public Information Officer, Safety Officer, and Liaison Officer. Question 24. Explain the functions of the incident commander. The first incident commander is responsible for overall management of the incident until command is transferred to another person. When command is transferred, the process must include the briefing and capture of all essential information for continuing safe and effective operations. Question 25. State the telecommunicator's responsibility regarding initial reports from command. Upon arrival of the scene, incident command is established by responsibility agencies by transmitting to the telecommunicator in a brief initial report containing the following: identifying the person establishing command and their parent agency, actual location of the incident, brief incident and scene description, designation of command and incident name. Mm-hmm. It is the telecommunicator's responsibility to record this information. It will need to be repeated regularly to other entities such as mutual aid companies and other response units as the incident progresses. Question 26. Explain the functions of the Public Information Officer. The Public Information Officer is responsible for interfacing with the public and media and or with other agencies about the incident-related information requirements. Question 27. Explain the functions of the Safety Officer. The Safety Officer monitors incident operations and advises the incident commander on all matters relating to the operational safety, including the health and safety of emergency personnel. The SO has emerging authority to stop and or prevent unsafe acts during the incident operations. Question 28. State an excellent way to ensure response unit safety. An excellent way to ensure response unit safety is status checks. The procedure includes the telecommunicator routinely, usually at pre-designated intervals, calling the incident commander on the radio and requesting a status check during the incident. Question 29. Describe one of the most important job functions of the telecommunicator. One of the most important job functions of the telecommunicator during an emergency situation is the responder's safety. The telecommunicator assists with responder safety by being aware and being prepared for unexpected radio transmissions from any unit at any time. Question 30. Explain the functions of the liaison officer. The liaison officer is the point of contact for representatives of other governmental agencies, non-governmental organizations, and/or private entities. Question 31. Explain how telecommunicators functions as a typical liaison officer. The telecommunicator will also function as a type of liaison officer by informing responding units exactly where to go once they arrive on scene. The telecommunicator must keep a record of where the units are to respond to and relay that information as needed. Question 32. Explain the responsibilities of the operations section. The operations section is responsible for all activities focused on reduction of the immediate hazard, saving lives and property, establishing situational control, and restoration of normal operations. Question 33. Explain the responsibilities of the planning section. The planning section collects, evaluates, and disseminates incident situation information and intelligence to the IC and other incident management personnel. It also prepares status reports, displays situation information, and maintains a status of resources assigned to the incident. The planning section is also responsible for developing and documenting the incident action plan. Question 34. Explain the responsibilities of the logistics section. The logistics section is responsible for all supports requirements needed to facilitate effective and efficient incident management, including ordering resources from off-incident locations. It also provides facilities, transportation, supplies, equipment/apparatus maintenance, and food services, communications and information technology support, and emergency responder medical service, including inoculation as required. The logistics section also establishes and manages base and camp operations. Question 35. Explain how communications can play a vital on-scene role. Communications can play a vital on-scene role in the form of incident dispatch teams. These teams are highly trained telecommunicators that are assigned to oversee communication networks on the scene of an incident, typically operating directly from the incident command post. The dispatch team functions as a self-sufficient, scaled-down version of the communication center. Question 36. Explain the responsibilities of the finance administration section. administration section is established when an agency involved in the incident management system activity requires finances or other administrative support services. This section is responsible for tracking all costs and financial considerations surrounding the incident and for monitoring and recording all information and costs for potential reimbursement at a later time. Not all incidents require a separate finance/administration section. Question 37. Explain the purpose of the information and the intelligence function. The information and intelligence function provides analysis and sharing information and intelligence during an incident. Intelligence can include national security or classified information, but it also includes operational information such as risk assessment, medical intelligence, weather information, structural design of a building, and toxic contaminant levels, etc. And this is Module 9.